We celebrate our nation, our future, Uganda, and believe in the beautiful game of football in Uganda. We believe in our mother body. Fufa, Fufa. When the boys and girls aspire to become stars, of the Uganda Queens and the crested Queens and the sun Queens. Come on, our fans, our gallant fans, our sponsors, our dear government, to support the beautiful game. One tribe, one family, one religion, one nation. It is our game, it's our country, it's our joy, it's our nation. The past and present stars, the fallen and living heroes, the coaches and referees, the players and the officials make this game. One tribe, one family, one religion, one nation. It is our game, it's our country, it's our joy, it's our nation.
Wherever you're getting the signals of Satellite TV from, I would like to say thank you so much for always being part of us. And it's always a very big pleasure that you guys are giving us that mileage, you guys are giving us the vibe, you guys are giving us that morale. Actually, doing sports show with you always is one of the greatest things that I've ever experienced. You guys are always giving us the platform and always buying that data, always streaming us, and that's worth appreciating. I can tell you that we are hitting numerous areas globally. We're hitting numerous areas, and people are always watching us live. There are those who are watching us live from diaspora, most especially from Dubai. There are those who are watching us from UK. Those who are catching us actually within Africa, Morocco, South Africa, people are getting us live. Kenya, people are getting us live. Sudan, as people are getting us live. It's really so amazing. We're getting the feedback, and it's really so interesting that you guys are giving us that company. You guys are giving us the morale to see that we keep on going harder and harder, such that we give you the best in what we call the sports actual activities. That's kind of happened from local to national, from national then we cross over to continental, then after continental that's when we normally cross borders and talk about international sports that people normally actually love actually to watch so much in there. But the reality is there is a lot that is happening in the game of football within West Nile here. But before I go into some of these actual details, remember, I'll be going club to club to see that I give you all the information that you need from these various clubs to see that you are kind of informed of what's happening with the one of the clubs here in Uganda, particularly within West Nile and other regions. We'll be giving you some of the insights about that. Remember, the FIFA TV games are soon coming up soon, but I'll be giving you some comprehensive actual update about that at a later time. Remember, this show is proudly sponsored by Sabiri Global Vendors Limited. Remember, they are the only sole sponsor of this particular show here at Satellite TV. We do have other numerous actual sports segments coming here. I will be giving you the lucrative version of the lucrative sports in here. It will start from 2 p.m. From 1 p.m. From midday. Okay, from midday. That's when we shall be starting to give you the lucrative version of the sports actual bulletin here from midday up to 1 p.m. That's when we shall be here for the Lugurati speaking people, and then from 6 to 7 p.m. that's when we shall be giving you the exclusive one in English, whereby it has to cut across everyone who is watching Sunrise TV. Remember, soon we are upgrading to some extent whereby you'll be watching us from one of the digitalized platforms. Remember, this is the biggest TV that we do got in West Nile, and there's no need for you to move an inch away from Sunrise TV, because here we never give you the best in terms of sports, in terms of market watch program, in terms of the political watch, in terms of what we call the youth zone. So many programs here. Feel free to come to us and advertise with us. Remember, the number to call is 0393 228209. That's the official office number that you can reach us, and we can give you that mileage probably to come in and advertise your business with us. You come and do talk shows with us here. We are always free, and our prices are a little bit all at minimum, affordable to every category of people in there. Remember, let's first actually pick it from here, and we talk about one of the biggest actual stories coming up is indicates that one of the players who kind of played their trade in Italy in the names of Akita. Remember, Akita has been one of the players who have been here so influential. Remember, he had played for a couple of schools here. He played for Arua Public. He played for Gombe SS. He even played for Arua Hill junior team. To some extent, he played for a team in the names of Ondopraka, actually junior team. He was in that team of Onama Bosco, that Arua Soccer Academy team. So he last season he Lucera, Classio. This is where Akita has been playing for, and his contract with that team kind of got over, and the club has kind of given him actually a new contract. You remember, his contract has been extended by 1 year. That's Akita for he's actually one of the most highly upgraded defenders. You remember, he plays in that central defense. He can play for U5, he can play for U4. That's Akita for you. He has been so influential for Gombe High School in there. Remember, when he was still with the Gombe, that's when Gombe managed to win what we call the school champions nationally. So he was part of that team that actually won that tournament way back. That's Akita for you. So currently, as I talk, he is in Italy, and in Italy, Lucera Classio has given him a new contract of 1 year. That sounds impressive. Remember, Innocent Media is one of the players who played in that team of Calcio, actually Lucera down in Italy, and his contract actually got over. He signed a 2 years contract with the team, and then the next we're getting is that the club has kind of also renewed his contract with 1 year actually contract in there. Remember, this guy is here within West Nile. How much notable Dudu Bosco has been so influential in identifying some of these players here within West Nile. Not forgetting the likes of Olema Hamzat of this world. We could talk about Onama Bosco. These are people who have been so influential in West Nile football, and they are always here to see that football in West Nile grows to some extent, and players are always actually going abroad. This is what we actually want to see within West Nile, and if this kind of spirit goes on, probably you could be seeing more in that powerhouse of Ugandan football when it comes to talent. Talent is really genius here in Western, and more so it has been actually discussed that it normally comes from from Yumbe district. That's where most of the talents come in, because you have seen a couple of footballers coming from Yumbe. A number of them, if I'm to mention here, it would even take like 10 minutes for me to make a mention about the beginning players that come from Yumbe. But all in all, Western is Western is kind of based, and there is more talent in various sport disciplines. We have seen Dr. Tunzi Cruz in the game of athletics. We have seen the likes of Sidaleni. So many, there are so many boxers here actually in Western, and they are really doing extremely well. And one of days here, we need to bring some of these boxers or some of these athletes to come and express their views of actually the journey that they've been going through in the game of actually. In the different games that they actually endeavor in their career in. So probably we shall be giving them that mileage to come here and see that they actually speak to the public, and they give actually that vibe to them. Teams have dropped in, and currently, as I talk now, it's not in the round of 32. So teams have kind of qualified in that round, a couple of teams. So it will really be amazing to see teams actually making amends. One of the biggest one is within West Nile. That's when ST.CHARLE LWANGA of Koboko will be hosting St. Joseph College Ombati. It's going to be a Sunday derby within St.CHARLE LWANGA and St. Joseph College Ombati, one of the biggest schools that we do have got in West Nile, and there's no doubt about them. And remember, St.CHARLE LWANGA, back those days, they've been the powerhouse of football down in Koboko district. So it's not actually a surprise that they are ready actually to actually at this level. Remember, they went up to quarterfinals, so they made actually West Nile very proud. And that's going there. So the next option that the next option that they will be playing actually against is St. Joseph College Ombati. Remember, Ombati has never touched actually the ball like St.CHARLE LWANGA of Koboko. They have never touched the ball actually when it comes to the Football TV game. So this is now the maiden time that they will be actually playing for the first time in the Football TV game. So this game probably we shall be actually broadcasting it for you live here on the screens within St.CHARLE LWANGA of Koboko and St. Joseph College. But remember, this game will be on Saturday, this coming Saturday. The game will be live. I'm telling you, we shall bring it for you, the live coverage of that game. Remember, St. Joseph College actually prior to this game had build-up games. They played against the OBs, and the OBs were kind of really very aggressive with the players, and they wanted to see that the players actually make amends, they really wanted to give the players, tough time. Remember, there were a couple of OBs who are in that team of St. Joseph College, but they played in some of the most highly rated actual tournaments here in Uganda. Even some are playing abroad. You could talk about players like Gaddafi Wahabs of this world, Ade Bryant of this world, and all these big name players gave them actually hard times in there. But the managed to end. The game managed to end 0-0 between the OBs and St. Joseph College Ombati students. So it clearly tells you that this is really going to be a very big game. Actually, before we go further, let us give for you a vibe of the game that happened between St. Aloysius College Nyapea up against St. John's actually atmosphere. That side of Gulu, remember, St. Joseph College Laibi managed to beat Napia 2-1, and then it ended 2-2 on aggregate. So the reality is really actually a big moment that happened there. One of the fans of St. Joseph College Laibi kind of actually gave us actually one of the feelings that happened. Remember, Okello Bernard had to score a burst against Nyapia in there. So it was really amazing. So that vibe probably we shall be seeing it crossing over to Koboko and St. John's College. Has got the fan base, they have got the OBs, they are always very supportive to their team. Not forgetting St.CHARLE LWANGA. Walter Bazagiri is one of the greatest OBs of that school, so probably we shall be there live in Koboko. So let's first give you that actual clip and you watch it for yourself. Yeah, that's the clip that happened down in Gulu. So the vibe that's after West Nile will be seeing will be between St. Joseph College Ombati up against St.CHARLE LWANGA of Koboko, one of the historical schools, one of the biggest schools that we have got in West Nile. Who wins it here will be crossing over to the round of 16. So I think it's really going to be a mouth-watering affair between these two actually great schools that we do have got in West Nile. Remember, I said this game will be live here on the TV screens, and it will be on Saturday. People of Koboko, I know Sabis is in there, and our Saturday TV brand in Koboko is as well there. Probably we shall be relaying for this game live because we do have got other actual personnel down in Koboko, so probably they might be on ground to see that we bring for you the live coverage of this game. Remember, we are not only based here in Arua, but we have got other connections. Northern Uganda, we are there. West Nile, we are at General West Nile. We are always with our personnel, and those who are in Moyo, they are always there to support us also to see that all the information that is coming from Moyo is actually broadcast live here on the TV screens. Those who are from Dumani, even maybe Pakwat, yes, we are really catered when it comes to personnel in what we call our work here with Sunrise TV. We do have got the personalities on ground. We are not an ordinary TV, I'm telling you. So this game will really be a big one. So probably, I promise for you, I'll be bringing for you some of the officials, maybe through phone call interviews. If there are others who can personally come here, we shall be having one of the greatest hobbies between these two schools. I know Walter Bazagli is one of them. Then Samson Sizokuti, or as Adam Bryan, or as Gaddafi Wahab, any of them might be here live with me actually to see, to give us the feeling of this actual game in there. Not forgetting Ajay Phillips. Remember, he is one of the greatest OBs of St. Joseph's College. But any of these personalities, probably I may bring them here. Papito Davigan is as well a great OB of St. Joseph's College. But any of these people, like I said, we shall be bringing for you them here to see that we give you the best in the game of sports in there. It's really amazing to see that these two schools will be united, and these games will be here to unite us. It's not be here to separate people. It should be here to see that who the biggest school in Western is, the bragging right will be determined here. So it's all sent affair between Mbati up against Lwanga down in Koboko. I don't know whether it will be at Narro. I don't know where it will be at the Bomber grounds. Is one of the biggest things that I'll be confirming that one tomorrow from Walter Bazagli, but the reality is the game will be live in Koboko. So let's leave that one and that and talk about the continental football, and we discuss what we call the women AFCON. Remember, it has come to the to its climax to some point, because the teams have played their games in the same finals yesterday. Remember, team Nigeria managed to beat South Africa to reach into the finals. That's clear that Nigeria has been so predominantly in what we call AFCON when it comes to women football in Africa. So Nigeria has been so predominant actually in Africa when it comes to women football. So they managed to beat South Africa 2-1. That game was really amazing to watch. You could really see that the intensity of the game was really very high. The players were really very aggressive, and the technical team actually tried their level best that this team needs to they need to plan their game properly in there. But the reality is, with the pedigree that these teams have got when it comes to rankings in Africa, I'm telling you, it was final before final between these two teams. That's South Africa and a team in the names of Nigeria in there. But Nigeria, with their pedigree, they managed to beat South Africa 2-1 to see that they square up with Morocco. Remember, Morocco is the host team, host nation to see that they will play up against Nigeria in the final. So this clearly states that it's not going to be an easy affair between these two teams, and it will be so amazing to see South Africa playing in what we call the third playoffs between South Africa up against Ghana. You remember, Ghana were actually rejected by Morocco in what we call in the semi-finals. So you remember, the normal time ended 1-1 between Morocco and Ghana, but Ghana had to beat them 4-2 on penalties. That clearly states that it's not actually an easy affair between these teams. So with the pedigree that Nigeria has got, remember, Morocco has never won the women AFCON in there. So remember, this game is played at their own soil, and the morale is always there, the fan base is always there, and probably the FA of Morocco Football Association needs to give some praise for this guy, to see that in case the president also needs to come on board to see that in case they win this one for the first time, for the country, they need to do something for these players who are into the tournament. Remember, this is one of the prestigious tournaments, and the prize money has been up in there. Remember, CAF did inform us earlier that the prize money will be up. Remember, the count that wins this tournament will go home with the Bamba money. Of course, that seems to be one of the motivational factors that I think will be making these teams to see that they really need to do their best to see that they win this trophy. And this trophy will be a kind of unique one, and it will be the first time that CAF has introduced a new trophy when it comes to women AFCON. So for the first time, you'll be seeing a new trophy delivered to the winner, maybe between Morocco or as Nigeria. So it remains to be seen which nation will be important to win this year's tournament. Remember, this are one of the biggest countries that we do have got in Africa when it comes to African football. Nigeria has been, like I say, predominant. South Africa has been there. Morocco has been at the top of the level, but the reality is they've never won this trophy in their lifetime. So are we seeing them probably winning this for the first time? That's a team of Morocco, but anything can happen in the game of football. But like I said, Nigeria has been so predominant. They are really very aggressive, and they are really talented when it comes to continental actual swap piece, and they know what to do when it comes to this kind of tournament. So the experience will work actually in favor of them. Remember, the final will be played on Saturday, and it will be at 11 p.m. East Africa time. That will be between Morocco up against Nigeria. Remember, this is an epic affair between these teams, and these teams have been so actually epic actually in the women AFCON, and they were actually elite actual players in the team of Nigeria, and both actually in the team of Morocco. Really amazing to watch some of these actually great women in the game of football. That should be one of the talking points that I thought that I need to actually bring to your attention, that the final is coming to an end. It was really an interesting affair yesterday in the semi-final playoffs in there. So anyone who missed that opportunity, probably you need to watch the finals between these two greatest nations. Really gonna be an interesting affair between these two teams in there. Let's talk about transfers, and we begin actually off from Liverpool. One of the latest that we are getting indicates that the Liverpool are really interested in signing players, and one of the players that they're talking about is a player in the names of Malik Fofana. Remember, Malik Fofana plays for Lyon down in France League 1, and he has been one of the most influential players in that team of Lyon last season. Remember, in that team, he scored around a number of goals actually for that team, around 17 goals actually for Lyon last season in all competitions. That is Malik Fofana for it. So Liverpool is prioritizing actually his move in case Luis Diaz leave. Remember, Barcelona are talking about him. Atletico Madrid to some extent are talking about, but the team that is actually trusting, having that much emphasis in him is a team actually. Team Bayern in there. Remember, at Bayern, German Marcel has been there, so he has probably been kind of having that injury. So Team Bayern Munich is looking at Luis Diaz as actually a backup option, because one of their wingers have been actually hit by injury, so they're looking at a possible replacement for him, and one of their priorities is that they wanted to sign a player in the names of Luis Diaz. So Liverpool are saying, in case Luis Diaz actually goes, probably one of the players that they will sign is Malik Fofana. So he has been so influential. Remember, he actually came through the ranks of Ghent, that's from Belgium. That's when actually started his actually professional career from, and actually at Ghent he was actually one of the most talking actual players. He's kind of very disciplined. He's really very aggressive, very athletic enough. He is very actually electric when it comes to one-on-one situation. He's very excellent. That's Malik Fofana for you. Really amazing. He's still 20 years old. I think that's the project that I think to me Liverpool needs by now, because we've seen Salah getting actually aged up, and other players actually at Liverpool are set to leave. You could talk about Federico Chiesa is leaving Liverpool, and teams are talking about, Benfica is talking about actually Federico Chiesa. It's like he might be crossing over to Team Benfica in there. So the other club that are also talking about, Juventus, are also talking about him. So are we seeing this guy is leaving Liverpool? Because one of the priorities that Liverpool said was about signing actually a striker, actually of whom they signed a striker in the names of Hugo Ekitike. That they say that in case they will actually sign this striker when Darren Núñez leaves. So Darren Núñez is still put with Liverpool Football Club. So this actually gives us a very big actual statement that it's imminent that the player in the names of Darren Núñez might leave Liverpool, because they have signed already a striker. But I think sending away Darren Núñez will be actually one of the biggest things that Liverpool actually will suffer actually in their life, because this guy has been so amazing to see that actually his coming off from the bench for Liverpool has been so impactful. That's Darren Núñez for you. There are some actually big game that he really needs, that this guy needs to be in the team of Liverpool. We have seen him come actually up against Manchester United. We have seen him come up against Manchester City. We have seen him come up against Arsenal. That's when you get to know the reality about a player in the names of Darren Núñez. Really very aggressive. He knows how to torment defenders. Surely Liverpool needs to keep hold of this guy. You can actually let go some of other players like Federico Chiesa of this world, but in reality, you need to keep hold of a player in the names of in the names of Darren Nunes, in my own way, because he is one of the biggest players for Liverpool. That's not the only player that they're talking about. They were talking about signing actually other good name players in there. So they talked about Rodrigo of Real Madrid, like I said earlier on. They talked about a player in the names of Alexander Isak, whom I think has given Newcastle United a priority of 24 hours to see that they need to increase his actual turn it up a little bit, because the other club that are interested in his services, but I don't think that Liverpool will be interested in his services anymore, because they've already signed a player in the names of Hugo Ekitike, already very expensive with £69 million. So that created a player in the names of Alexander Isak will be actually a subject of talk for Liverpool for now, because they've actually got a strike already. So with the other available actual options that they have in actual, there's one of the greatest academy products of Liverpool. He dons that number 87. I think he is really amazing to watch, and Liverpool and Ancelotti, I think, are going to be giving him that platform to see that he needs also to come from the bench and see that he makes a man. We've seen other youngsters in that team of Liverpool come actually broadly, to establish themselves to be one of the regular starters. One of them is Harvey Elliott, and he has been one of the biggest talking points, and he has been attracting actually interest from other clubs, including Newcastle United and Aston Villa. But are we seeing him leaving Newcastle United, Liverpool, for those clubs? It remains to be seen. But I think Liverpool still needs to keep him hold, actually, at my own view, because he is really one of the biggest players for Liverpool. He has matured a little bit in mind, so probably keeping him hold probably can help Liverpool to some extent, because they are the defending champions of the English football. So probably defending that back, so need to keep some of your key players put to see that he keep the road keep hitting the road running, and other teams will be monitoring you. Other teams will really want to beat you, because you managed to beat them last season, and the pressure will be there actually on Ancelotti to see that they really need to defend this trophy. But to me, Liverpool for surely needs to keep hold of some of their important players. One of them should be a player in the names of Harvey Elliott. So they talked about signing a player in the names of Mark Guehi from Crystal Palace. Remember, they've had personal terms with Mark Guehi. It's only remaining Liverpool to talk have talked with the team Crystal Palace to see that they signed this actually brilliant player. He is really a very amazing player to watch in there. We have seen Ibrahim Konate being attracted by Real Madrid. We have seen a player in the names of Jones actually getting over. Darren Quest crossing over to Bayer Leverkusen. That clear stage that Liverpool needs to have more options actually at the centre back. You can't rely much on what we call the academy products. To me, actually at the back line in there, but the reality is Liverpool has got one of the best academy products actually when it comes to England. Players in academies in England. So definitely you see that Liverpool is really going to be a team to watch, because they've signed actually a couple of players in the already. So one of the players that they're talking about is the defender who plays for Ajax in the names of Gerald Hato. Remember, he is not actually the only team and interested by Liverpool. Chelsea are also interested about this guy, and Chelsea are really actually very aggressive when it comes to spending money in the transfer market. In the Chelsea has spent around £140 million in the transfer window that has been opened recently. That clears that it's not going to be an easy affair, because club to club talks have actually kind of advanced between Chelsea and Ajax in the so. This guy is really a very amazing player. He's very actually body. If you have watched Ibrahim Konate, he is similar to Ibrahim Konate in terms of physical appearance, and he looks a little bit actually very bold in there. I think strikers will be actually suffering this guy in case he comes to Premier League, and since people club are really interested in him, and one of the clubs that is studying for his services is Team Liverpool, and his price tag is around £45 million. Really, not a bad money. I think all these teams have got the potential actually of signing this great player. He looks very black like me, and I'm not being racist here, but that's the reality. He really looks very actually he really looks very actually black in there, but he is one of the greatest players for Team Ajax last season. Matches they lost actually to PSV in that actually championship in there. So really amazing to watch in there. One of the greatest players that he's still very young. So I think coming to Liverpool will add some actual sense for that team of Liverpool and Ancelotti in there. So really amazing to see this guy on board for Liverpool. Talking about Manchester United, Ruben Amorim yesterday did say that he really wants to sign actual strikers, and one of the strikers that he was talking about was a striker in the names of Benjamin Sesko. And I remember Benjamin Sesko has been so influential for RB Leipzig last season, and the RB Leipzig are putting his price tag to be in the region of around 61 million pounds. Remember, this is the man that the Manchester United is supposed to pay for this guy in the names of Benjamin Sesko. This is a player whom Arsenal has been chasing for a quite number period of time, but Arsenal never struck that deal. Remember, last season Arsenal talked about this guy, and in the kind of ongoing transfer window, they also talked about him, but they never signed him. They decided to go for a player in the name of Victor Gyökeres. So I think Manchester United has got. That's actually a possibility of signing this youngster, because the striker that the Manchester United was talking about kind of got actually new actual homes. One of them was Victor Gyökeres, like he said, crossed over to Arsenal Football Club, who I think that the Manchester United talked about crossed over to Liverpool. So it means that the Manchester United needs to be serious in the transfer window, because Rasmus Haaland and Joseph, these are players that have not been so actually prolific enough for Manchester United when it comes to scoring those goals at the back of the net in the final third. In there, remember, Rasmus Haaland is the current actually upgraded, as we say, upgraded actually highly rated and natural number 9 at United. He can give some actual excuse for a player in the name of Joseph in there. He's kind of very slow, but when it comes to finding the back of the net, he's kind of really not all that in there. Matthias, he has got one of the biggest positives to Manchester United in the Europa League last season. He kind of actually scored a couple of actually interesting goals for Manchester United that pulled them actually to reach up to the final. That was actually a solid effort that he could actually come from the bench and score those goals, after those crucial goals for Manchester United in there. But the reality is, Manchester United surely needs to sign a striker, and Dr. Zaxi is not a reliable one. But he finds his playing mostly actually in that number 10 role. When you play him in the number 8 role, he's kind of all that slow. Remember, his speed is not really so immense in that. That's Joseph for you. But when he plays in that number 10 role, and he loves carrying the team forward. That's Joseph for you. But in reality, Joseph deserves not to play for Manchester United, because the type of game that Manchester United plays in does not suit a player in the names of Joseph. I'm telling you, if that guy was to be at Manchester City, he was really going to be a superstar for Manchester City. If he was to be at the Arsenal Football Club, he was going to be one of the superstars for Arsenal Football Club. Remember, even Arsenal talked about him before Manchester United had to hijack that deal before crossing over to United, and Arsenal talked about him. But at United, the playing style seems to be one of the challenges for Joshua Zirkzee. But really, he is really a very good player. That's Joshua Zirkzee for you. So the style of play at United is to me is affecting. He's actually playing in there at United in there. So Manchester United is also talking about other strikers. They talked about Nicholas Jackson of Chelsea Football Club. They talked about Oli Watkins, and they talked about a striker in the names of Randall Kalumani of PSG. But the latest we're getting indicates that team Juventus, for whom he has been playing on loan, whereby he scored around 10 goals in Serie A plus some 9 assists, are really interested in the services of a player in the names of Randall Kalumani, and he's really earning a lot of money at PSG, around 170,000 million pounds per week. That's Randall Kalumani for you at PSG. So they are really actually planning to sell him away at around 40 million pounds. Actually, his price tag to me is really a little bit fair in that. That is a player in the names of Randall Kalumani in there. He is really very physical. He kind of, to me, was going to be a perfect for Manchester United, but in reality, out of 5 chances, Randall Kalumani will score for you actually 1 or 2 goals. But he is really very wasteful. That's Randall Kalumani for you. But when it comes to pressing, he's really very actually good in there. But I think Ruben Amorim, in case he fancies him, it is just because of his physicality, actually brilliance in there, because he uses a lot of the body. He can hold the ball actually at him. That's Randall Kalumani for you, because Ruben Amorim wants that central actually number 9 to kind of hold the ball a little bit, and then he release it to actually to players who have open up, maybe the likes of Amadis of this world, the likes of Marcelo Mount of this world, to actually to go in there. To go with the ball, and probably you have to rush into the box and score those goals. That's what Ruben Amorim wants actually from the strikers actually at United. But that has been failing with Rasmus Holland. So they talked about Randall Colomwani. So we don't know whether Ruben Amorim will be signing these players. But in reality, he said he wants to sign players with Premier League experience. We have seen him signing Matheus Cunha already from Wolves. We have seen him signing a player in the names of Brian Piermo, who had one of the brilliant moments with a player in the names of Andre Onana yesterday down in the USA. That player says that it's really going to be amazing to see that Amorim kind of cements Manchester United's position. Remember, they finished 15th after the last season in the English Premier League. That was one of their actual worst ever finishes after in the English football. That player says that Ruben Amorim needs to do a lot in there when it comes to seeing that Manchester United needs to actually improve from actually where they left last season. Remember, their pre-season actually training started very poorly for them. They played against Leeds United, a team that we thought that Manchester United was going to actually beat them by a number of goals in there. But there were a lot of positives actually in that team of Manchester United. But in a nutshell, they really never live to the building against Leeds United. So those are the players that they're talking about. But he said he wants to sign players of Premier League experience. So we are yet going to see whether they are going to sign all these players actually at their disposal. That's Manchester United for you. So if you had to ask me, all these players, I would rather go for a player in the names of Benjamin Sesko. Remember, he is still very young. He is around 22 years old. That's Benjamin Sesko for you. I think he could be offering a lot of actual positives for Manchester United. He needs to come and adapt to the physicality of English football, and he needs to establish himself, because I think to me he'll be having that actual priority at United, because the likes of Bruno Fernandes will be there to support him. The likes of Amad Diallo of this world will be there to support him when it comes to that creativity at United, and Brian Piermo is as well there. Matheus Cunha, all these players will be supporting him with creativity. So Benjamin Sesko should be one of the greatest players for me at Manchester United, if at all Manchester United is to sign him. And Manchester United actually, Chief Scout has been one of the biggest admirers of this young guy. So in case this deal comes through, probably you could be seeing this guy coming to United, and it will really be interesting to see that he comes actually at United. He seems to be the only highly rated strikers in the world probably right now. And Manchester United actually chief of scout in the names of Christopher Viville is said to be having talks with the RB Leipzig already about signing this youngster. So it's all about United, and we see whom they will be signing in the transfer period in there. And they talked about signing a goalkeeper. They talked about Martinez, and Aston Villa are saying that they really wanted to sign this guy permanently. They don't want to actually release him on loan. So Manchester United wants actually a loan proposal for a player in the names of Elena Martinez, whom I think will not be a perfect for United. Martinez, he has got the Premier League experience, but he is not a ball playing goalkeeper. I don't want to talk much about that. They talked about Sane Lamens, who plays in for a team in the names of Royal Antwerp down in Belgium. So he's still very young, and United are saying that they really needed these guys. And they talked about Rasmus Holland being linked with return back to Italy. We have seen Atalanta and Lazio also interested in his services, and he has not been that lively striker for Manchester United. I think he needs to go back to Italy and actually rediscover his form, and see that he really needs to make amends actually for him to revive his career, because at United everyone seems to be criticizing him, and he's still doing the same thing that he did for Manchester United last season. In the preseason against this United, he's not that he's never changed in his style of play. That's Rasmus Holland for you, according to what I watch in there. And the other clubs that are reportedly impressed in some of the outcasts at United, one of them seems to be Anthony. Remember, Bayer Leverkusen did talk about him, and one of the latest that we're getting indicates that the Atletico Madrid are really impressed at United in there. So these are the players that I think United needs to sell away, and see that they really need to find a club of their own. So let's talk about Chelsea Football Club. One of the latest is that they are really planning to actually give an exit for a player in the names of Felix. Remember, Joao Felix has been one of the most influential players the world has ever seen. When he was playing for Ajax Football Club, he was really doing amazingly well. That was the player in the names of Joao Felix. But whenever he started making those moves here and there, things were not clicking for him very well in there. He played for Atletico Madrid, signed him for around 45 million pounds from Ajax, and at Atletico Madrid he never really lived to the bill, and he was really actually was kind of Benz material, and he wouldn't have that regular time at Atletico Madrid, and the Chelsea had to sign him and gave him that contract of around 7 years contract. And the latest we're getting is that he is really actually facing it a little bit hard, because they are players actually in the team of Chelsea Football Club. It's now really very hard actually for you to bench them. You could talk about Enzo Fernandez. You can't bench this player. Romeo Lave, you can't bench this guy. Moises Caicedo, the magic man, you can't bench him. So really tough time for a player in the name of Joao Felix. You remember, he was launched to play in ST Milan down in Italy, and he really played very well in that team, and he scored around 3 goals and provided a couple of assists in 21 appearances down in Italy. So really, he is set to leave Chelsea Football Club. If he doesn't have that playing time, with the squad that Chelsea Football Club has got right now, he really surely needs to find another club so that he needs to get that playing time. He needs to be called up to the team of Portugal. Remember, he is really a graduate of Benfica. So are we seeing him going back to Benfica? Because we have seen Benfica already talks about signing him to see that he really needs to come back home, and he really needs to actually up his game, so that he really needs to be a regular call-up in the team of this Portugal national team. That's Joao Felix for you. So we are yet going to see how this deal will be going over for him in there. So let's talk about Chelsea Football Club still, and one of the latest is that they talked about Xavi Simons, and this is a deal that seems to be going very fast, and according to Fabrizio Romano, this deal seems to be to some actual advanced level per now, and it's not actually a big deal between the player and Chelsea Football Club. But now the reality is Chelsea has to talk to RB Leipzig, and they see that they really needed to sign this guy, and this guy has kind of moved a lot actually in clubs. He has played actually at PSG, at Ajax he played, at Bayern he played. Really amazing to watch. That's a player in the name of Xavi Simons. Remember, he is really a versatile player. He can play for you in that number 10 role. He can play for you on the flanks. So probably Chelsea Football Club signing this player, probably could see Chelsea Football Club being one of the clubs that should be talked about in English football. So really, they have got a number of players who play in that position of actually Chelsea Football Club. And they sign him actually to see that he really needs to come in and make amends, and see that Chelsea remains to be one of the competitive teams in the English Premier League. Remember, the GA has it that Chelsea Football Club has got one of the greatest squad depths. Arsenal has got one of the greatest squad depths. They have been rated to be, including Liverpool even. These 3 clubs have been rated to actually to win the Premier League actually this season. Are we going to see Chelsea Football Club going to the market? They are saying that they are not done when it comes to spending in the market. And one of the players that they're talking about is a player in the name of Alenda Ganato, who is one of the deadwoods at United. And Ruben Amorim did actually say it opening to him in front of other teammates that he needs to find actually another club in there. So Chelsea Football Club are actually interested in his services. Remember, Martin did actually put his actually prize money at around 70 million pounds, but this man has kind of dropped significantly, and his actually price tag has been actually reduced up to 40 million pounds. Are they going to use him in a swap deal with Nicholas Jackson? Remains to be the $1 million question that everyone is asking. But in reality, this guy is really going to be amazing to watch. So Chelsea is set also to offload some of the key players, players like Christopher Nkunku, players like Nicholas Jackson are set actually to quit Chelsea Football Club in there, and we are going to see how these guys will be actually making amends for Team Chelsea Football Club in there. So it will be interesting to see these players coming on board and make amends for Chelsea Football Club. Remember, they are fresh from winning the FIFA Club World Cup. The money is there, so Chelsea Football Club can right now do anything in the market and see how they will be making amends in there. That's Team Chelsea Football Club for you. Really impressive that they are spending all these monies in the transfer market. Let's first talk about Arsenal Football Club. Finally, the man that they have been chasing for a number of times is actually at the verge of actually being confirmed that he will be an Arsenal player. Are we seeing this guy coming and he will be done in that number 9 at the Arsenal Football Club? It remains to be the $1 million question, because the Arsenal Football Club needs that actually number 9 start to be given to anyone, because there's no one done in that number 9 at the Arsenal Football Club. I'm quite sure Mikel Arteta and his technical team will probably look into that and see that this guy needs to be given that number 10 role at Arsenal Football Club, and seems to be one of the biggest things for me for Arsenal Football Club, because they really needed a player of high profile like Nicolas Jackson, because if you need to be competitive, if you want to win the Premier League, remember Arsenal Football Club has been consecutively finishing second in the English Premier League 4 times consecutively. So really, they needed a player in the names of Victor Gyökeres, who will come in and torment defenders. Defenders normally fear him. That's the reality about a player in the names of Victor Gyökeres. And coming to that team of Arsenal Football Club, I think he will definitely add something. But I think one of the biggest things that Mikel Arteta needs to do is to see that Martin Odegaard needs to change his mentality of not giving final passes actually on time. Because if you want to actually win trophies, you need to be time conscious. You need to be actually elite when it comes to giving those passes. Remember, sometimes when you expect actually Martin Odegaard to give that final pass, that's when you see him actually looking for a play in the names of Declan Rice first. You understand? That's the challenge with Arsenal Football Club. Sometimes, so when this guy is into the box, that's when you are supposed to give that final pass. That's when Victor Gyökeres is really a monster in the box. He's really a real fox, and he has been in England before. He has played for Brighton and Hove Albion. He has played for Coventry City, and at Benfica. At Sporting CB down in Portugal, he was really amazing, scoring around 39 goals. No striker currently in the world reached that actual scoring tally last season, but he managed to score that, and he is finally a player whom Arsenal will definitely rely on. And his father is really a big fan of Arsenal Football Club, and he said that his son should join Arsenal Football Club. But now my challenge here is this is a player who is already aged up. He is 27 years old right now. And if you look at the team of Arsenal Football Club critically, it's really a very actually young team, a team that has got a number of youngsters who are capable actually of scoring goals. And surely Mikel Arteta and Andrea Berta surely needed to see that this guy should be the perfect one for Arsenal Football Club to see that they really need to find the back of the net and hit the pick up the game, score those goals, make the fans happy, and with the current crop of players that Arsenal has signed already, really amazing. Kai Havertz is there, Nuno Madueke is in there, really a very rich team for now. But I think Arsenal Football Club needs to sign someone in that midfield department a little bit, much as they've actually got replacement for Thomas Partey. They've got replacement for playing the names of Jorginho. But in reality, they really needed to have, still to me, one more of this one in the midfield a little bit. And defensively, they are kind of okay. And remember, Arsenal Football Club was in action today in what we call the friendlies in there. Remember, they did play against a team in the names of AC Milan, and they managed to beat AC Milan by 1-0 to 0. Bukayo Saka was the hero, and he scored that goal for Arsenal Football Club in what we call in the 53rd minute. That was Bukayo Saka for you. So he was really very excellent for Arsenal Football Club in the pre-season. So he has actually started from where he left, and he has been the biggest hero at Arsenal Football Club. If Bukayo Saka is not there, we have seen Arsenal struggling. So, really amazing to see this guy actually coming in for Arsenal Football Club. So, let me take you to the lineup of Arsenal Football Club. Before I take you that, remember, pre-season trainings are supposed to go up to penalties. And in penalties, Team AC Milan had to beat Arsenal by 6-2 in penalties. But in normal time, Arsenal managed to beat them by 1-0. You need to get the point right. Pre-season trainings of friendlies go up to penalties, and AC Milan won on penalties 6-5 of Arsenal. but in 90 minutes, Arsenal won it 1-0. So let me first give you the starting lineup that Arsenal Football Club had in goal. They had David Raya as usual in goal, and they had Ben White, William Saliba, and Calafiori in that central defense party. And then he had Zinchenko on the other side. And then the midfield three had a trio of players in the names of Ethan Nwari, Christian Norgard, and Declan Rice. And then the front three had players in the names of Bukayo Saka and Kai Havertz and Martinelli leading the line for team Arsenal in there. But due time, I may not give you actually much about other teams in there. But one of the biggest games that Arsenal Football Club will be having is on the next game will be up against Newcastle United. This is where you'll be seeing Christian Masquera actually starting his actual game for Arsenal Football Club in there. It's really going to be an interesting affair to watch this guy in for Arsenal Football Club. Remember, they have signed actually a couple of players already. A player in the names of, like I said, Christian Masquera has come in already. They have signed Martin Zubimendi, Christian Norgard, and Kepa Arrizabalaga. These are the players that they have already signed in there. Then they are soon gonna unveil a player that they have been chasing for a number of years in the names of Victor Gyökeres very soon in there. Let's first talk about some transfer stories that's still keeping up after the headlines in there. One of the latest is that a player who has played for Arsenal Football Club, he went back to France, and he is really merging to what is Grand Kizaka. So the reality is he is set to come back to England, and he has already agreed terms with Sunderland Football Club, one of the newly promoted teams in England, and he is going to be played in the English Premier League. That's Granit Xhaka for you. Remember, he is really someone who is very talented, and Granit Xhaka, he is really amazing to watch on the ball, and he loves scoring those cracker goals outside the 18-yard box. That's Granit Xhaka for you. Coming to Sunderland, I think he will be coming with that experience, probably see that the players. Remember, it has been a very long period of time for Sunderland to come back to the English Premier League. So he really needs to come in and talk to the players how to do it when it comes to playing in the top tier of English football. That's English Premier League for you. That's a player in the names of Granit Xhaka. He is coming back to England. So really amazing to watch him there. So it will be interesting to see this guy coming back to England. So one of the latest we're getting is that Liverpool consider Rodrigo actually a possible replacement for a player in the names of Luis Diaz. I talked about this one earlier. One of them is Atletico Madrid have open talks with Chelsea over a deal for Renato Vega. Remember, this guy is not having that actual playing time at Team Chelsea Football Club, and he is still very young, 21 years old. I don't think that Enzo Maresca will be giving him that priority to start games in and out. At Atletico Madrid, I think Chelsea Football Club got a very good business actually set up with Atletico Madrid. We have seen them actually exchanging players here and there. We have seen João Felix crossing over from Atletico Madrid to Chelsea Football Club. We have seen Conor Gallagher crossing over to Chelsea from Chelsea to Atletico Madrid. Really, it's going to be interesting to see this guy crossing over to Chelsea to Atletico Madrid. Remember, his price tag is around £35 million. Really a good one. If Chelsea Football Club sells him, he has been one of the academic graduates of Chelsea Football Club. This is really a very good man. So probably it could be one of the biggest things that they are really interested in actually to see that this guy comes into that team of Atletico Madrid. That's where I think where I'll be important to stop. Those are some of the biggest actual stories that I prepared for you this actual evening. Remember, we shall be bringing for you the live coverage between ST.CHARLE LWANGA of Koboko up against St. Joseph's College on Brazil. It is going to be one of the biggest games to watch, and we shall be giving you the live comment of that game here. We and the technical team and our management, we are going to sit down and see how best we can do for you to see that they will bring for the live coverage of this game here on your TV screens, and it has been one of the biggest things that we shall be important to give you here at Saturday TV. With the information, with the news, with our new programming lineup, probably we shall be running effectively from next month. We shall be running effective here at Saturday TV. We shall be bringing for you the news and other interesting programs. It's already lined up very well in here. So we shall be actually unveiling the team to you very soon actually on our social media platform. Remember to get into Facebook, like our page. Go to YouTube, like our page. Go to X, like our page. And on Instagram, we're equal there. And soon we are going live on what we call a website. So probably for those who are in the diaspora, you can watch us live actually from our website, from our website, actually search in there. And our technical team is really working hard at there. We really need to be up there. And we're not just an ordinary TV. We are really here to give you the best when it comes to coverage of any information, whether political, whether religious, whether business-wise, whether education-wise, whether government actual initiatives. Here we are at Satellite TV. Remember to call us on 0393 228209 for bookings. We shall be here for you. I have been Zero, the host of the show. I'm out of here. Bye-bye for now. And let's catch up again tomorrow. Same time, same show. One love.
We celebrate our nation, our future, Uganda, and believe in the beautiful game of football in Uganda. We believe in our mother body. Fufa, Fufa, when the boys and girls aspire to become stars, of the Uganda queens and the crested queens and the sun queens. Come on, our fans, our gallant fans, our sponsors, our dear government to support the beautiful game. One tribe, one family, one religion, one nation. It is our game, it's our country, it's our joy, it's our nation. The past and present stars.